One Piece chapter 1041 titled Komurasaki released today, and yeah, we're going to get right into it with a review of the chapter and my thoughts and feelings on the matter, because everyone cares. But so it opens on the Germa 66 cover story again. We have the fifth episode installment of it, and in it we see Pudding punching Niji and Yonji because of how they treated Sanji, specifically for bullying Sanji. Yeah, because Pudding really does love Sanji after the whole end of Whole Cake Island with the reveal of her third eye and stuff, and him not thinking she's hideous, which is a low bar, but anyway. The actual chapter opens up exactly where chapter 1040 leaves off. We have Momo and Yamato talking, and they're talking about how Zunisha is coming to the island. Momo actually spoke with Zunisha, and what Zunisha said was that they've come to fight. They've come to fight, and they want to help Momo take back Wano, fight by his side. And Yamato is amazed by this because Odin actually predicted that Momo would be able to speak to Zunisha, and so that means that he's the one that's supposed to lead the world to its dawn, whatever that actually means. But yeah, that's Momo. So we know there is a new dawn coming, and supposedly Momo is going to be the one to lead the world to it. So big things for Momo. And Momo reveals that he learned from the journal why he can't actually die in the fight at Onigashima. But the actual thing is that Odin tore out the pages of his journal that reveal what actually was on Laugh Tale, what made Odin and Roger laugh. So he knows that he can't die, but he doesn't know why he can't die and why, like, what needs to happen as a result of him not dying needs to happen. And we see Momo then, he's kind of freaking out to Yamato because he's kind of like, oh, I don't know, like, if this current situation is what he expected, and like, does it make me a coward that I don't want to open the borders because of the current situation with the world government and stuff. He just says the potential dangers to the people of Wano, but we can assume it's the world government he's talking about. And then we cut to Raizo and Fukurokaju's battle. So Fukurokuju is out cold, well, out hot. So we get the announcement that Raizo was the victor of the corridor battle, and he's on the floor repeatedly saying it's not hot while he's on fire. And then Jinbei comes and saves him. He's kind of like, oh, why are you here? You're one of the samurai. Why are you still here? And Raizo is kind of like, oh, you're one of Luffy's crew. We have to go. The preparations are almost complete. Preparation in, like, inverted commas, but yeah, we don't know what the preparations are for. Maybe the Scabbards still have some extra plan that we weren't aware of or something. Or maybe the preparations are just like to, all get together and fly off the island or something. And then after that, we cut to the main body of this chapter. Yeah, I can't see what page this is on, but we cut to the main body of the chapter, which is where we actually get the name of the chapter from as well. We cut to Orochi and Komurasaki. Hiyori, obviously, is Komurasaki. Orochi is kind of freaking out about Fukurokuju not coming to pick him up to get off of the island. He's kind of like, where is he? He's like, oh, Fukurokuju must have escaped by himself, and he's like, oh, did that tremor get caused by Conjuro? The tremor referring to Law's attack on Big Mom, which led to her demise. But, so yeah, and then he's like, oh, like, if that tremor is due to Conjuro, this island will, like, be history soon. And then he turns and he's like, Komurasaki, does this look like the time for music? Because she's playing a song on her shamisen. And so he starts freaking out at her, but then some debris falls on him. The roof above collapses on top of them, and he's like stuck under it. He's trying to get out, and he's like, "Whoa! Why can't I transform? Why can't I turn into my Yamato no Orochi form?" Haha, Orochi, get it? But so yeah, he's like, "Why can't I transform?" And then Hiyori starts talking, and she's like, "You were so distracted that you still haven't noticed that I stabbed you with a piece of a sea stone nail." And Orochi's kind of like, "What are you talking about?" And Hiyori's been wearing a mask this entire time, so Orochi still doesn't know who she is, like, and he's like, "I thought you loved me," and she's like, "Why would I love you? Like, I could never have love for you," kind of a thing. And then we get the reveal that she says his favorite song is called Moon Princess, and then it cuts to a flashback of her playing Odin the exact same song, and her saying she'll practice more to get better at it for him. And then we get the reveal, well, Orochi's reveal, that's actually Hiyori. She says, "Kazuki Odin, my father." And then we see Orochi's face, a close up of his face, and his eyes are bloodshot and wide, and he's all like, "Father?" And and then she's like, "How could I possibly smile when I play it for you?" And then it cuts away, but we can assume that Hiyori is going to get the final hit on Orochi, because he's had 7 of his heads beheaded at this point. So, and then obviously with the sea stone nail, that doesn't even matter, because if he can't transform into an Orochi, then if he loses a head, he's dead. He can't regenerate it if he can't use his devil fruit powers. But yeah, so it looks like Hiyori will actually be the one who gets the final blow on Orochi instead of... I kind of thought it would be Momonosuke, but obviously Momonosuke is preoccupied at the moment. So yeah, it looks like Hiyori will be the one to get it, or else she'll just leave him under the debris for as long as it takes for him to die, which would be a slow and painful death. And then we cut to Izo, fighting CP0, which we saw starting off in the last chapter, 2 chapters ago, something like that. So we see Izo is down, but he actually took down a member of CP0, the one with the tiki mask. They actually kind of traded, so Izo shot him, and he used finger pistol Shigan on Izo at the same time. So they're both down, and we see the actual leader of CP0 sitting down. He seems kind of injured, and he's kind of like cursing Izo. He's like, "Damn you, why are you standing with the Straw Hats? Why is a member of the Whitebeard Pirates helping them?" And then he's kind of like, "Oh, come on, we have to hurry and get Nico Robin to..." Obviously his downed friend, but he can't get up. And then he gets a call, and he's like, what is it now? What do you want?" And it's like, this is a direct order from the Gorosei, so the Gorosei are directly stepping in to tell him what to do. And his new mission is to eliminate Straw Hat Luffy. So yeah, this is pretty huge. And he's kind of like, he's very hesitant. Like, he's putting respect on Luffy. He's like, "Straw Hat's in the middle of fighting Kaido. You can't expect me to get in the middle of that battle. I will die." And the person on the other end of the phone, we don't actually see who it is, but I'm kind of assuming it's like Rob Lucci or Kaku, because they were seen on the ship not long ago. Yeah, so I assume it's one of them, like Rob Lucci, Kaku, or Stussy. But then they respond like, "We're aware of the difficulties, but it's because of how high profile this battle is that you need to take out Straw Hat Luffy." And they're saying it's a necessary precaution, so they're kind of starting to realize that Luffy is actually at that level now. So if he goes any further, he might actually do what he's been saying, and they haven't been taking him seriously about up to now. And he's kind of just like, "Oh," and then we see Drake is back up, so he's on the phone, Drake is back up, and it's kind of like a thing of what's going to happen, but I think Drake is going to take him on again, even though he's already been taken out by him, because Drake's one thought in this chapter, the only thing he actually does is say, "Do they expect me to go down empty-handed?" So it looks like Drake's going to square up to the leader of CP0 again, and hopefully Drake actually takes him out because, Drake is a member of the worst generation with like Luffy and Kid in Law and Zoro and Killer, who are all doing like massive things. So it'd be really disappointing if Drake just like wasn't even able to take out a government agent, I know Drake is technically a Marine and he's in Sword and all that stuff, but still, I think he should be able to take out a ZB0 agent, even if it is the leader, like, or at least, put up a good enough fight that he's not able to take on Luffy afterwards. I mean, the government agent. So then we cut away from this scene where CP0 is kind of like, the leader is kind of like, what the hell? So we cut away to somewhere else in the basement, because these are all scenes on the basement floor. And we cut away, and it's Hamlet and Usopp we cut to, and they're kind of running around. They're carrying Kiku and Kinemon, and they're kind of like, we need to get out of here. Usopp says to Hamlet, we need to get out of here. This place is like collapsing. We need to get away from here. And then it cuts away from them. That's all we see. And then we cut to Wanda, Carrot, and Neko Mamushi, and they're kind of saying, we need to get back inside. The entirety of this island is starting to fall apart. So, judging off the fact that they said that like the island falling apart is a sign of Kaido's power weakening, Yamato said that earlier, we can assume that the fact that it's falling apart even more rapidly now is kind of showing how much he's gone through. And we cut away from them. They just serve to say that we need to get inside before this island completely falls apart. And then we cut to Frankie, who's got his arm elongated through a hole, and he's just gripping Zoro, and he's kind of like, are you still alive? Like, tell me you're still alive. And then we cut away to the bathhouse, and we get Nami and Zeus talking, and Zeus is kind of like, oh no, mama, oh no, this is terrible. And then Nami is kind of like, who's more important, me or Big Mom? And Zeus is kind of like, you Nami, please don't throw me away. And then we see that they're actually defending like Marco and Tama and Speed, and Marco's actually in the process of healing Komachio and the monkey that I can't remember the name of. And then Marco's kind of like, oh, this is still the most dangerous place on the planet, so do not let your guard down. And then we cut away again, because these are a lot of quick scenes, like only a couple of panels, 4 or 5 panels, maybe a page or a page and a half. And then we cut to, Law and Kid's crews just after the fight against Big Mom, and they're like, whoa, they really did it. They beat Big Mom. And they're all like, woo! And then Kid's kind of like, should we brace ourselves just in case something happens? And Law's like, we've done our part. Even if Kaido's the one that comes down, we can't do anything about this. And then we cut to Luffy and Kaido, finally. And so Luffy and Kaido are just after another Advanced Conquerors clash, and Luffy's been thrown back, and then Kaido's kind of like, did you feel it? Big Mom's been defeated. They actually did it. And then he screams. He's like, when he actually says it, he's like, Lin, they beat her. But he's actually screaming, and the scream is done with enough force to actually physically knock Luffy backwards off of his feet. And then Luffy's kind of like, whoa, they actually really did it. And then we see Kaido's panting, and then he's obviously reminiscing, because we go to a flashback then of the first time he ever met Big Mom, and she's just kind of like, oh, can you not speak? And he's like, how old are you? And then it's like, oh, you're 15. And it's like, so this is your first time being with Rocks. He's good for nothing. Don't trust him. Something's bugging you. Come to me. I'm Lin, and I'm the woman who will rule the seas. We don't actually see Kaido in this flashback. We just see how Big Mom was when they first met. I think she was like 27 at the time or something. 26 maybe. We see her at that age, and she looks exactly the same as she looked in the Rocks flashback from like 957 or so, which isn't surprising, obviously. But we don't actually see Kaido, because the flashback's from his point of view. And then we cut back to the present day. That's all the flashback. It's only about 4 panels. And he's kind of like sad. He's like, now that I think about it, we had a long history. And how could I let them beat Big Mom when we had just decided that we were going to find the One Piece together? And he's back into his weeping drunk form from a couple of chapters ago when he went through all the different forms. So he's back into weeping drunk, and then we see Luffy. When I first actually saw this panel, I thought it was Carrot. I thought it was Carrot in a Sulong form, because he looks like demonic, I suppose. And then he punches Kaido, and he's in Gear 4th Snake Man again, and he's using a new attack called Gomu Gomu no Hydra, and he's just rapid blitzing Kaido. It's kind of like a mixture between Gatling and the basic, it's like a Gear 2 Gatling with the mixture of that and like Gear 4th attacks. So he's just like rapid firing Snake Man attacks at Kaido, and he's like, don't talk to me about your dreams. Your dreams made the people of Wano suffer and starve. And he's like, I only have 1 Gear 4th left. I won't stop until you go down. I won't stop until I have nothing left. And Kaido's kind of like, where is this coming from? Where are these attacks coming from? And Luffy gives his final panel announcement. He says, I'm kicking you out of this country for good. And then that's the end of the chapter. Unreal chapter, I think. I really enjoyed this chapter. Just great chapter. I'm really hyped to see where the Luffy Kaido fight goes, because it's really just that Next Drake and the CP0 boss left in actual fights, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, I'm really hyped to see where it goes. I in the prediction video, I said that I think it'll be done by chapter 1050. I completely forgot about flashbacks, and it looks like it's actually going to the fight earlier. So I think, depending on how long the flashbacks could be, I think they could be like 5 or 6 chapters. I don't think they'll be as long as the Odin flashback. I think we could be going up until maybe 1055 with this fight, or if the actual fight is very short, which I doubt it will be. I think this is kind of like, I think all the other fights have been short up to now, like the Toby Rappo fights being only like 1 chapter each. I think that's so he can do the Kaido fight for even longer without having too much. Like the Big Mom fight was like, what, 5 chapters, I suppose. I think Luffy Kaido will be a longer fight, but yeah. So that's the end of the chapter. There's no break next week, so that's great. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, and I'll see you next time. Peace.